Hello everyone. As they mentioned, I'm local representative, so I'll actually keep to a little bit more of the local topics. Something that's closer maybe to the people who are here, but actually when I say closer, I don't think it's closer, it's a little bit, the accent is a little bit on the different thing, and I'll get soon to that. So the topic is blockchain versus cryptocurrency. These two, of course, are connected, but I'll get why I want to separate these two topics. So if I just press the correct button, okay. So just one question. How many of you doesn't have a clue what the blockchain is? So 1, 2, 3 people. Okay. So for these 3 people, we have to go from the entire history of blockchain and to explain everything, I guess, right? Okay, so I'll just get a little bit of intro for the technology because I will have few key points. One of the key points is technology and how it's separated from the cryptocurrencies. And then I'll get a little bit more into the terminology. So blockchain as a technology, it started like sometime around 2009. We all know about Bitcoin and how it happened a little bit. We also heard of the examples where people bought pizza with Bitcoin, so one of the most expensive meals, I guess. There is few things that I want to go on the technology level, but not get too much into details. So, what's the key points of blockchain as a technology? You can see on the screen behind me. So decentralization, it's kind of like notary digital timestamps. What does it mean? It means you cannot change the data without leaving a trace, which is pretty handy if it comes to, for example, police records, medical records, any records that should not be tampered with. Now, this is one of the key points. Also, there is the distribution of power. There is no an entity who controls this data, since you cannot change it. This actually means that for example, and I will just go with a bad case scenario. You are a convict and you have some access or somehow you get into the police records, you can change it and then you are like erased your criminal history. Blockchain disables that to happen in basic plain words. To summarize like this part, I'll just go with this. So it keeps the way it keeps and stores data and doesn't allow you to change the information that easily. It's one of the key points to this technology, which kind of launched it into the global scale. Also, when we are speaking in plain words, for example, what it can be used for. If you have, for example, a case where you have a dispute over something, and if you want to check it traditionally, which basically how the countries function these days, you would go to a lawyer, to institution that takes care of the information of that kind, and you would depend from their data in order to solve this. Also, you have a middleman. In this way of using the technology, the data is public, so the both sides can actually access to it and see the same thing. I can now probably go on and talk how the computer, like what are the nodes, how it's function, but this is just a short intro about the pluses of technology. So we know how the entire network is connected. We probably know what nodes are, how that functions. So I'll skip to that because most of the people here is from this area. Now we come to the cryptocurrency. In order for that entire ecosystem to function, we have to give something in return. So what are we giving to computers which are in the same networks or nodes? We are giving them an exchange for the service. In this how the first cryptocurrency was established. It was originally, as I said, Bitcoin. So there is also a few things to mention here, like the way how it works. Is it the proof of work, proof of stake, and etc. But I think it's something that's familiar to at least this audience. So I'll not get into those specific details. there is one thing that always crosses my mind when we speak about blockchain, and it's usually like this. I heard once the question, how much Ethereum do you have? So I was like, the Ethereum is actually a technology and the Ether is like the currency. But people don't usually separate these two. So the question is always how much, at least for the general public, how much Ethereums do you have? This is the first step of realizing the people are not seeing this well separated in that terms that one is a currency and the second one is technology. The technology part can be used in a lot of areas, while the currency is a digital currency of any kind, can be used for paying for services and stuff like that. So people usually don't separate these two, and that's where you get the problem of perception, which is the main thing that I actually want to focus on today. What's the problem in perception? The problem in perception comes when these two are connected, okay, so one is dependable on another, and it's a good mechanism, it's a good connection, everything functions good, until a point where you start separating the view of today public opinion, which is also kind of paradoxal if we speak about public opinions on this topic. I, in the first place, mean about, for example, official government officials from any country perspective, and that's the paradox, because if we are speaking about blockchain and boundaries in countries, that's actually the paradox, because it should be not bounded anyway. So I'll just put it like this. We can look at the blockchain from the perspective of the technology. The technology that can solve a lot of things, that can affect a lot of things, that's definitely going to change a lot of things, how we look at or how we perceive certain things today. But let's look at it from the standpoint of technology and science in some way. Then we have another look at. No? Too early. Then we have another part of the entire thing. It's the cryptocurrency. So that's probably a good way to make money out of the technology you are using and everything connected with it. So these two perfectly work together. The problem comes when? The problem comes on the step number 3. This is, I would refer it as crypto scams, but maybe we can just refer it as scams. How does it work? And I'm speaking from a local perspective here. When you mentioned blockchain and mentioned somebody earned money from something, the perception is the same from point of view of typical Montenegrin citizens. So there were actually a few examples of bad examples of few schemes, just schemes, not even blockchain related, but the marketing around these schemes were like that, you know, it's crypto, it's technology, it's something new, innovative, so you need to put your money in that. Now, the basic question here comes, would you put your money in something that you don't even understand what it is? And this is the main problem. People don't understand usually what the entire technology behind everything is. They don't understand the connection between the currency and technology itself. I'm speaking like in other blockchains, not just Ethereum. But they invest money into something they don't even know what is. So eventually they lose money, or somebody get scammed, or something bad happen, and then the entire perception of this technology is negative. So here comes the problem. Why? Okay, so technology is unbounded, it's unrelated to the countries, which is the main goal. Nobody controls it, there is no global policeman, but still, in order to function within this ecosystem, you need to function inside of the countries. And in order to function inside of the countries, you actually need to explain the system, politicians, government, whoever, what does this mean? And this is especially hard due to the last thing that's on the screen, the different scams which are most of the time not even connected with the blockchain whatsoever. So you come to the government, you explain, okay, we have this new technology, it's innovative, we can solve a lot of things. I'm not even now speaking just about our country, but general. Here, actually, people listen about new technologies, which is good lately. But you come and you explain, this is a new innovative technology, we should do something about it. You get the answer, no, it's just some digital money, something that we don't understand, you take it away from here. And then it's stuck. You cannot function properly within that country system. You cannot normally withdraw money. You cannot make income out of that in the normal ways, which are like stated in every country, different policy. But generally, in all of these systems, you are pretty much stuck to do something regarding development and income. So this is the base of the problem now. If that's a base of a problem, do we maybe have a solution for this? Put them all in jail? Yeah, that would probably be good, but can we put them all in jail? No. Scammers will always exist, and they will always do scams. That's what they do. That's what their, let's say, job is. But what we can do, and this should be the main focus in some period in the future, we should educate people what the technology behind it is. If we understand the technology and use our cognitive abilities to think and separate, people would not invest money in something they don't understand. People would know to recognize, okay, this what I'm seeing as an ad for some crypto asset is not crypto asset at all. And could be able to just logically perceive what they are looking at. This would bring us to the step where people who understand how everything is connected and how everything works could bypass all the negative perception and do good things about the technology itself. Also, the education, generally education in digital area of citizens, because in the end, who creates the entire system of one country? Politicians. Who vote for politicians? Citizens. So in the end, what we basically need to do is explain to the regular citizens what's the benefit of the technology. Just a second, sorry. I hate seeing this guy behind. I mean, he should be behind the bars, but I just don't like looking at him. So, in order to do so, we would need to start to a little bit put a bigger accent on explaining to the regular people what's behind it, how it's functioned, what's the base, what's the benefit, what we can do about it, with it, and separate the bad influences. Since I'm actually coming from the sphere of cybersecurity, and lately, as it was mentioned, I'm into the gaming. When we started speaking about gaming, at least in this country, there was a general perception, oh, gaming, that's what kids play, and that's not so, like, what's the point to make something about it? It's just what kids use. But on that meeting, and there were a few officials on that meeting with me, was a professional player, and when we mentioned how much is his salary, they were all like very interested at that point. So, in order for people to understand, something is to catch what's interesting for them. Usually it's a financial area. So if we explain the positive things that technology can bring in terms as itself as a technology, and correlate that to the financial benefits, we can actually start to establish a little of ecosystem for these technologies even here in Montenegro. Why? Because for the technology, you don't need big infrastructure, you don't need big buildings, stadiums, something like what you need in other areas, hotels. You need basic laws and good way of helping some ecosystem develop. In this case, that would be a blockchain ecosystem. Beside this, there is also one thing that I mentioned even when this conference was. I spoke with few professors who I respect highly and think about their opinion, care about their opinion. They also had the perception like that's just digital money. So I had a little bit discussion and saying, okay, that's just one part of something a lot bigger. And all the things that happened in this country lately, like a year ago, that was completely unrelated to the blockchain, was somehow connected just through a media. For example, we have one of the biggest arrests in crypto scams in Montenegro. Yeah, but we also had few schemes that are totally unconnected with the blockchain, and media related that to the blockchain. So the entire perception of thing is connected, unfortunately, in that way that people don't separate what's blockchain, what's cryptocurrency, and what's simply plain word scam. So I guess the main point what community should do and what we are trying to do, and we are trying always to get the new innovative technologies, promote them and do something that the new ecosystems develop, which is always good for the economy, such as Montenegrin at least, is to get a bigger focus on the behind scene, what we can do with it, what we can gain from it, what we can use it for. There is a lot of things you can use it for, from, I don't know, as I said, medical records and etc., to voting on some topics and parts connected with it. Also to say what are the benefit in the financial terms, and in the end educate people well enough to know to separate what's not like just cognitive thinking, what's blockchain and cryptocurrency, and what's completely unrelated, but it's trying to promote itself as such. And actually this would be my conclusion. I would just say we had few examples even around us where you can see people who are not connected with at least this thing trying to be perceived as such. This is something we must pay attention to, and hopefully that we will not get the same as like for the NFTs, you know, NFT perception, oh, it's just a monkey picture and now we perceive it as that. If we pay a little bit more focus on that, I hope in the near future focus will be on developing new things based on technology as technology, and if we learn something from the factors surrounding it, then it's a good thing, but definitely a lot more people would and should be educated what are the benefits. So I thank you for your attention, and bye.